Kulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawengavengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, expert clarifies Bible teaching in alleged rape trial. A new housing authority boss wants better delivery.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
A new twist today in the trial of a pastor who was charged with multiple counts of rape and sexual offences. A reverend was today called in court to explain the sermons given by the pastor Chone Kanuto to his congregation, as he allegedly used this pretext to deceive a number of females in his church ministry. Shireen Shivan has been following the case.
Last week, the court heard some of the victims of the alleged horrific crime that the pastor used some biblical teachings to back his acts, which was to have sexual encounters with some girls of his congregation. In fact, reference was made to the book of John chapter 4, where a Samaritan woman came to draw water where she met Jesus, and Jesus asked her for a drink. Along those passages, Jesus had said, quote, "But those who drink water I give will never be thirsty again. It becomes a fresh bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life," unquote. Judge Justice Salisitemo had ordered the prosecution to bring in an expert in biblical theology and explain to court what this passage from the Bible meant. Reverend Dr. Donald McLaurith, who is a lecturer in scripture and who studied biblical theology in Rome, told the court that the Samaritan woman's story and her encounter with Jesus does not involve any element of sex. The Reverend said this passage was a dialogue between Jesus and the Samaritan woman. McLaurith further said the role of a Christian pastor is to bring people to faith in Jesus and not how it was interpreted by Pastor Dokanauto. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Fijians currently in the UK on visitor visas who had applied to join the armed forces are being asked to return home. This is after Phase 1 training for the British Army.
We are aware now of a number of individuals from Fiji that are in the UK that have raised concerns with this. So if you are, or if you have a relative who is in the UK that is in this situation, ultimately this is the risk that you take if you decide that you want to join the British Army. But if you have a visa that is likely to run out, it is vital that you heed that and that you return to Fiji.
The Housing Authority needs to improve the quality of construction of houses and to ensure projects are completed within a specific time frame. Newly appointed Housing Authority Chief Executive Dr. Punit Sethi says this has been a problematic area for some time and he wants to bring in world-class standards. Kelly Vadala reports.
It's important that Fijians are provided with perfectly built homes using the best materials.
I will be going for quality construction. Some quality construction and speedy constructions, because I find that there is a scope for improvement in quality. So that you will find that very soon, even meeting with my architects, contractors, conveying them that we want to do business, proper business, and only focusing towards business. So conveying them about my point that how can we do that, how can we save money.
Sethi says his main focus will be to ensure there is quality housing for all Fijians.
My aim would be to do whatever I do, it should be visible on the ground, and very soon we will be doing that.
Acting Chair for Housing Umarshi Musa says Sethi brings more than 30 years of experience.
Sethi has experience in affordable, low-cost housing, smart cities, and infrastructure development, like seaports, airports, highways, power plants, and special economic zones.
Housing Authority of Fiji says they will be meeting with important stakeholders soon to discuss the new vision of speedy quality construction and housing for all. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The departure of MWH in September last year has delayed works undertaken by the Fiji Roads Authority. FRA Chief Executive John Hutchinson says this has been a major challenge for them. Sainyan Imboila reports.
With 9 months since the departure of MWH, Hutchinson says it has set them back in terms of road works.
Of the work in terms of scoping, design work, and physically managing the tender and procurement processes used to be undertaken by MWH. That is now not the case, and clearly that absence has held us up.
Hutchinson says his team has been working hard to ensure there are no further delays.
But I'm pleased to say now that by the end of this month, not only will all of the work that has been programmed or was originally programmed for 2016-17 will be out to market, but a number of projects.
FRA should take extra efforts to fixing our road.
I think we have to look for another overseas company similar to the MWH, just to keep up the standard of Fiji roads.
FRA is doing a good job without MWH.
Weather also continues to have an impact in most FRA projects, as does the availability of gravel, particularly for sealed roads. The recent shortage of cement in Fiji is also a major issue. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Still to come, new structure soon for carrier fares. And FMPF adds to education assistance. Details after the break.
Nimbula binaka na yavangunga andi moala rarara ranalika o tikongo na taon singa toka ando talisaka na wakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na serre.
Ya dora subuni kurna bili. Ibora ni batu karaham para binaranga. Do talitakinan na wakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na serre. Bula!
Bula FM number 2 na serre.
Licensed carrier operators will soon be governed by a proper fare structure, as the Land Transport Authority is currently working on introducing a fare model. Carrier operators are currently charging fares on an ad hoc basis based on verbal agreements between drivers and passengers. Pranita Prakash reports.
Land Transport Authority Chief Executive Carmine Piantedosi says carriers are public service vehicles and must come under a prescribed fare structure.
There's been no fare set for those operators, and part of the LTA's role is to regulate fares. So we're coming up with a fare structure which sets a reasonable fare for the operator as well as a reasonable fare for the customer who uses those services.
Fiji Van and Carrier Operators Association and LTA are having consultations with these carrier operators. Another round of consultation will be held in Suva tomorrow.
It's a very good issue brought by LTA to set the fare structure for the carriers. As we know that the carrier has been operating a long time here in Fiji, but they haven't got any fare structure for them.
The Land Transport Authority is now formulating a proper service fee model that should be fair on both passengers and carrier drivers. There are close to 300 licensed carrier operators in the country. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
2 more tertiary institutions have joined the Fiji National Provident Fund's qualified list for education assistance withdrawal. These new institutions are the Advanced Aviation Training Fiji School in Nadi and the Pacific Theological College in Suva. Both organizations are registered with the Fiji Higher Education Commission and had to submit audited financial accounts and comply with the Commission's provisions. A total of 15 tertiary bodies are now approved by the fund for use of their education assistance. The South Pacific Stock Exchange is hoping the 2017-2018 national budget will include incentives for investors and companies. Manager Operations Pritesh Prasad says there are a few incentives in place, such as tax-free dividends, no income tax on gains, and the reduced corporate tax rate of 10%. Prasad says these incentives will entice potential investors, which in turn is a boost to our economy. The national budget announcement takes place next Thursday.
Stock market is it really plays a critical role in the economy,
If you look at people who really want to make returns or help their money grow, help their investments grow, stock market is one of the avenues where they can actually invest their savings.
Turning to world news, a man has died and 8 people have been injured after a van ploughed into pedestrians near North London Mosque. The van mounted the pavement and struck a group of people just after midnight near Finsbury Park Mosque on Seven Sisters Road. A 48-year-old man has been arrested. Ahead in sports with Jamie, Skipper Cup games called off, but joining us next is Rachel with business.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Good evening, and coming up after the break. Chance for Fijians to invest in FNPF.
I'm Anare Sorbakro of Nayabu Wenabuga Telebu. Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Kano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. Fijians might have a chance to hold shares of the Fiji Electricity Authority. This after Public Enterprise Minister Aya Said Kiyim says there's plans to list the utility on the South Pacific Stock Exchange. Said Kiyim says this is in an effort to allow ordinary Fijians to participate in government's divestment. He adds taking this step would also mean Fijians are participating in the capital market. The government currently owns 51% shares in FEA.
So if all of you have an electricity account under your name, you would be entitled to a particular level of shares. Also going to keep a small portion set up for individual account holders of electricity accounts.
It's the start of a new week, and here's Savanatha with the latest from the stock markets.
Thanks, Rachel. Taking a look at our South Pacific Stock Exchange performance as it closed last Friday, there were 14,247 shares which exchanged hands, totaling to $47,064 over 16 transactions. Within the 16 transactions, there were 5 securities that were being traded: Freebird Institute, Paradise Beverages, VB Holdings, Vision Investments, and Fijian Holdings. In terms of price gains, Paradise Beverages shares rose by 0.4% or 5 cents to close the week at $12.50. VB Holdings shares rose to its all-time high share price of $4.05 after recording an increase of 1.76% or 7 cents. Fijian Holdings also concluded the week at its new all-time high share price of $4.36 after witnessing a movement of 0.46% or 2 cents. However, Freebird shares recorded a fall of 0.42% or 1 cent and closed the week at $2.39. That's the news from our local stock market right now. Vinaka, Rachel.
Thanks, Savanatha. On to today's exchange rates. The Fijian dollar strengthened over the weekend against the Chinese yuan and the American dollar to close at 3.25 and 47 cents respectively. Closer to home, the Australian and New Zealand dollars weakened, closing at 62 cents and 65 cents, and the PNG Kina followed suit, closing at 133. As for the commodities market, oil prices rose to close at $44.67 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,255 an ounce, and silver dropped, closing at $16.73 an ounce. In Gorin, Fiji, the National Women's Expo 2017 wrapped up with record sales last week, clearing close to $400,000. A record-breaking sale for the 497 artisans, with the Eastern Division accounting for the biggest profits. The 3-day event eclipsed the previous forecast, with over $121,000 made on the day one of the expo. For the 100 rural women that came from Laos, Kandavu, Lamai Viti and Rotuma, their business alone accounted for more than $119,000. Additional sales of close to $30,000 was made from food and flowers vendors. And that's your business news this evening. Now to sport.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची FM सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची FM is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची FM सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची FM is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची FM सुनते हैं। मिर्ची FM is hot. I love मिर्ची FM.
हमें स्क्रीन तक हुआ कि मिर्ची FM में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Vodafone Flying Fijians have another mammoth task ahead of them by way of Scotland this weekend. With a number of weaknesses exposed in the narrow win over Italy, the announcement of Campisi Mafu's availability for the test this Saturday is welcome news for many. However, players in the squad know there are a lot of other things that they need to get right before the match.
Scotland is a fifth-ranked side in world rugby, so I think we have to live to that to their standard if we want to win the game next week.
We have the same mentality of being indisciplined sometimes, and we need to work on that.
Change anything, we just have to change how we run our lines and hold our depth, and that's it.
Meanwhile, Scotland has decided to rest some of its senior players ahead of the test against the Flying Fijians. However, following their famous victory of the Wallabies on Saturday, coach Gregor Townsend is not writing off the Fijian team. Having coached a number of Flying Fijians previously, he believes his side will have to work hard for a win against Fiji at home. Wastil Prasad reports.
A warm welcome for the visitors who are back in the country after 5 years and already indicating who is on their radar before the match.
Leone Nakarawa is offloading and making breaks, and we saw right at the end of the game against Italy he made another break, and we know him very well, having been with him at Glasgow for the last few years, and playing them in Fiji is going to be a real challenge for us.
New Zealand has won the Under-20 World Rugby Championship title with a 64-17 win over England in the final in Georgia. Hooker Safa-Aumua was the star once again for the side with a hat-trick of tries in the game. Reo Football does not have any immediate plans to celebrate its second Vodafone Fiji FACT victory. The Delta Tigers say they are too busy to be celebrating right now, especially with the Vodafone Premier League and Battle of the Giants lurking on the horizon.
Now we in the middle of the season, a very important season for Rewa itself. National League is, we in the middle of National League. We just on top 3. I mean for winning this National League, so any plans would be made keeping in mind that it doesn't disrupt our preparation for National League and obviously BOG, which is just 3-4 weeks away.
The countdown is on for the 2017 International Cup in Australia, with the AFL Fiji men's team officially finalised. A squad of 25 will represent Fiji at the competition in August, aiming to stamp its mark on the world stage. Mary Tavanga reports.
The coaching staff are happy with the team's selection.
We've got a really good mix of experience and youth in there. Obviously we want to prepare for the next World Cup in 2020 and things like that. Having finished 10th in 2014, the team expects much better outing. They've prepared beautifully. Their skills and their game plans have really developed, and I'm really excited to see what they can do in August. The boys have put in their natural athleticism and their fitness is really going to put them in good stead.
Captain Chuta Watete knows what is expected of them.
We've got a lot of experienced players, so they know what is it like in playing in Melbourne in August. So yeah, we'll just hope for the best.
Having seasoned guys like Chuta Watete and Ali Patino who surround the team will be settling and using their experience to lead the team and inspire on and off the field will be very important. The coaching staff will do all they can to ensure the boys are conditioned for the standalone international tournament for Australian football. Melita Wanga, FBC Sports.
Pakistan produced an incredible display to thrash fierce rivals India and win the Champions Trophy. Fakhar Zaman hit a spectacular century to propel Pakistan to 338 for 4 in the scorching South London sunshine. Mohammad Amir then tore through the India top order to help reduce the defending champions to 54 for 5. India eventually limped to 158, Pakistan winning by 180 runs to take their first global 50-over title since 1992. That's it from sports this evening. Catch weather later on with Angie. And in new media, look at cybersecurity and what the experts have been discussing. This and more coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kami na sumutikola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya sila tali, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, more than 3,000 internet professionals gathered at the 2017 China Cybersecurity Conference and Expo in Beijing last week. This as experts exchanged ideas on how to tackle cyber attacks. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Mother Nature is not wasting any time in putting out different kinds of weather. For today, we saw gloomy conditions in most areas of the country, which lasted throughout the day. Looking at today in the west, it was cloudy, but sunshine made sure it made a slight appearance. Eastwards, from Peck Harbour to Suva, after a few early morning showers, conditions turned dull and there are indications for showers by tonight. And up in Vanuatu, it was majorly sunny with cloud build-up. At sea, a strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters. And for the tides, low tide tonight will be at 8:11, with a high tide tomorrow morning at 2:32. Sunrise will be at 6:36. For tomorrow, it will be a beautiful Tuesday with lots of sunshine and cool breezes throughout Fiji. Tomorrow's temps, Nadi will be the warmest at 30 degrees. And looking ahead to Wednesday, the stunning conditions will pretty much be the same. And that, Jackie, is FBC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, will the new health call centre help improve services?
Yeah, we've just come to Fiji and been made aware of this issue, and we think that
it will be way more efficient than the Facebook group that you have at the moment.
Oh, of course, yes. It will improve. Because most of the people, they're staying in the remote area, they'll benefit too with that same number. It will be easy for them to call on that number, so they'll get the services out of it.
I think this initiative will increase health standards, especially for us. Sometimes we need medical attention.
The toll-free line will help medical staff improve their services. People have a number to call if they have complaints.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, 5 years of drought in California have taken a heavy toll on the state's wildlife, including the threatened desert tortoise. According to most scientists, the effects of climate change are worsening the situation. Recapping the main stories, expert clarifies Bible teaching in alleged rape trial, Fijian British Army hopefuls told to return home, and new housing authority boss wants better delivery. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, the results from last week, we had asked, can the Vodafone Flying Fijians beat Italy and Scotland? 60% answered yes. This week we are asking, will the new Health Customer Care Call Centre help improve services? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day, an aerial view of Tavarua, the heart-shaped island resort. It is famous for activities such as surfing, sport fishing, scuba diving, snorkeling and kayaking. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye for now.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kami na sumutikola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya sila tali, nagurara may naomanya nandunga gitu tele-tele yang gitu Venezuela nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandumay biti
na Radio Fiji 1 nandumay biti na buong ni BNN.